Just thought I'd ask, which is better? Which do you prefer when it comes to reading and writing? Digital or analog? That's one to debate, because I've done, it might not seem that important this, but it actually is. It's very important and fundamental to your own self-development, because I've done both, you know, whether that's reading off a digital screen, whether it's a tablet or a Kindle, or reading a physical book, or is it e-books, you know, like PDFs, or is it a audio book that you prefer? So let's just explore it, right? Because there are benefits. You know, I'm in technology, I'm in software. That's the business I'm in. So, you know, I live a very digital life, but when it comes to certain things, even though I live in that world, software, you know, always on a laptop, I write notes by hand. Look at this. Everything by hand. And why do I do that? Well, I obviously do write. I would not put meeting notes down on screen. You know, I always write them in here, and I have a little technique. You know, you just date stamp it, topic, and just have a notation style. And I find this to be very, very efficient. I know you end up carrying all these books around, but I can quickly go back. Same with all my journals, you know, they're all physical journals. And I used to use, I was just having a chat about this earlier with our software engineer. You know, I used to use a digital journal, right? And some digital journals, you get these online digital journals and apps. And the digital journal I used to have, all you had to do was talk to it. So it was like, at the time I was doing a lot of voice notes, voice journaling, more so I could listen to myself back. Because when you free talk, you know, you can sometimes get a lot more out. But this digital journal that I had, this app, transcribed your text and then put it in. I thought that was absolutely amazing. I thought, fucking hell, brilliant technology. It is really good. Because I remember when I was doing a consulting job on a restricted site, and it was quite a detailed consulting job, and I had to interview people, and I wanted to transcribe it, you know, like record it and then transcribe it. So I was recording these interviews. This is just my like interview, you know, for change management for IT projects. And I'd be like recording the interviews and then transcribing it. But some people would say, oh no, I don't want to be recorded. Now, this was a restricted site, so I wasn't allowed to take my laptop on. And it was a pain. So I had to write down the full. So I created like a structure for the interview, you know, like all the questions, and just tried to do shorthand as fast as they were reading it out. But it was a bit of a pain because I couldn't concentrate on the meeting that much. So the ones that I could record, I could transcribe with software, which was pretty useful. And although you know, there's a massive place for that, there's all these like AI note-taking bots that you can, you know, the AI bots now that you invite into your digital meeting, into your video call, and they're pretty good. They'll produce a summary and capture all the actions, and to save you having to write it down. But even though I use one of them, I still physically write key bullets down. So what I do when I write in my notebooks, I've got absolutely shitloads of these now filled out. But because they're all date stamped in a chronological order, I can always go back and find exactly what I need, because I can always track back to meetings. So whilst I might use technology, I do write key things down in here. And my own view, even though I'm in software, I find the physical act of writing something down really helps it commit to memory. Like I say, I used to use a digital journal and like even one that you just spoke to it and it transcribed all the text into, transcribe your voice into text, speech to text. But you don't fucking remember any of it. Like when you're using digital journals and digital tools like that, it just doesn't commit to memory. So there's something about physically writing in a journal, especially in the morning. I mean, for me, yeah. Oh, not North Yorkshire. No, I'm actually North Manchester. I've got a Lancastrian accent, so it's a bit different to Yorkshire. They have a slightly different twang. It's not far away, but in Yorkshire, they sound. Well, you're Yorkshire, right? Yeah. No, I'm North Manchester, so it's a bit different, our accent, of course. But yeah, back to the digital thing. When it comes to journaling, because it's a ritual, writing it down by hand. Oh yeah, many times. I was there at the weekend. Yeah, loads of times Yorkshire. Yeah, it's just down the road, just on the other side of the Pennine, so it's not far. I was in Skipton at the weekend. That's Yorkshire-ish. So I think so. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, so the act of writing things down for me really makes it, commits it to memory better. But I still don't, still in technology, so I still use a lot of digital tools. And the other one is books. So whenever you read a book, people like the Kindle's a fantastic invention, right? You put thousands of books on a device and just read it. And what I like about the Kindle is they're trying to make the actual screen perform like paper. It's a matte finish, so you've not got screen glare. I don't know if you ever tried reading off an iPad. It's horrible. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like we stare at computers all day. For me, reading's education, but it's also enjoyment. So I must admit, I read physical books, right? I think reading physical books is better. The other, well, I've got one here actually. So the other reason why I read physical books is because I put all these notes in them, little notes. There's not that many notes in here, and I sort of underline it, and I've done videos on this where I write in my books like little notes and underlines and things, and I think that's really important. Like, I wonder if I've got an example here. Where I've written a note. I have in here where I write little notes. So we're now, what we on, like page 37. Gerard's Law, there you go, of 250. So yeah, I write little notes and a little index at the start, which will help me point to like anything I find that's useful. I'll write a little index, page number, line, and then go to the page and I'll underline the bits that are relevant. And I find that really useful, again, just physically reading, because I just sit in the garden, I don't want technology. It's my peace time. But you can also do the same, like if you use a Kindle or any kind of digital, there's ways to sort of underline it or highlight certain sentences and then categorize them and add them. And because of the technology, they're a lot more searchable, you can just search. So technology is obviously very powerful, but when you're using analog means, even though I'm in software, that's my business, I do prefer to write notes analog. So I've got my notebook, I've got my journal, books, they're all analog. That's my thing. And you might think, why? Well, obviously with the journal and the notes, I've got notation styles and ways to make it efficient. For me, as long as I don't lose the notebooks or the journals, am in good shape, I can navigate around them really quickly, and it's actually the added effect of the information sinking in to my brain a lot easier. I think that even though technology is very fast and more efficient, I do believe the physical act of writing notes in books as you read them, writing physically in a journal and in a notebook really, really helps my memory. It really sinks in. So I'm all for both. Something I'm going to do with a journal in the future, just discussing this earlier, because I'm sort of writing down all the goal IDs and the goals that I work on each day, which relate to everything that I'm working on, all my plans. It's very logical, and I'm ticking things off. I'm going to do like a OCR app, you know, that because I like writing by hand, that's great. I'm going to OCR it in, then it's going to go to technology and start running metrics like you're working on this, you're not working. So I'm going to try and get the best of both. And I've also got one of these digital notepads where you can, you know, you just sort of write in and then it transcribes it. They're quite expensive actually. Takes it down as text. It's a bit like writing on an iPad Pro, you know, but it's a specific notepad. I've got one of those. To be honest, I just don't use it. I like a good quality pen and to write by hand. But I think there's a place for everything. However, I do believe that writing by hand, for me, in a journal, whether it's in a journal or in a notebook, really helps it commit to memory. But that doesn't mean we can do without digital. Interested to know your thoughts. Like I say, I use both, but when it comes to journaling, it's got to be physical writing, and then maybe, how can we say it? You've got to digitize it at some point. But for work, you know, all my work, it's all on computers. Interested in all your thoughts. Just thought I'd leave that with you. All right. See you all next time.